Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Welcome to the Art of Blogging. I'm Demet. You've seen me around today. You can also find me on Bookstagram under Polished Books, or Books Polished, that way around, with an underscore. And I'm here with Amy, Bettina, and Jenny. Do you guys introduce yourself and just say a quick what can find you?
I'm Amy. I guess that's underscore for the love of books on Instagram. I'm not on Twitter.
Bettina.
Hello, I'm Tina at Book Looks by B. You can find me on most social media handles on Instagram, YouTube, Twitch. I do have Twitter, but I am so not too active on it. And also on TikTok, which I'm just trying to figure out now.
Fair enough.
On Facebook. Yeah, so you can find me. It's all under the same name.
At least that's handy, okay?
Yes.
Jenny, where can we find you?
I'm Jenny. Mostly on Instagram. I'm technically on Twitter, but I'm really just Instagram. And it's at Jenny Shaw, just my name, because I'm a little bit boring with that. But
That's not boring.
It's very easy to remember. Like I kept on being like, so this is that person with that handle and that person with that handle, and you're just like, it's Jenny Shaw at Jenny Shaw. What more do you want?
I tried. I really wanted Nails and Tails, and I joined Instagram, but it was already taken. So I was like, well, that was it. My one idea. Oh,
That's a cute one.
Well, now you have a shop that's called like that. So, well, we'll talk about that in a bit. So you all do amazing arty stuff involved with your blogging and books. Jenny does nail art in incredible detail that I cannot wrap my head around. Amy paints covers on her legs, but also so good. And what is even happening? And Bettina does these upper body makeup looks that are just body paint and hat dresses and so much work and art. And I said in one of my breaks earlier today that like this is art and this is the hill I will die on. Like all three of you for me are like defined as art.
Thank you.
Do not come for me and bite me on this one. But we all have to agree it is kind of unusual what you're doing. Like it's not what the average blogger does.
Definitely.
So my first question would be, how, why, when does this, like, how did you get to this? How came you up? Did you came up with this one? Jenny, do you want to start?
Well, blogging back in the day, it just sort of happened organically. I was doing nail art, and then a friend of mine, her book got published, and she had this cute little bird on the cover, and I was like, I can paint that. I mean, it took me 10 hours and it was terrible. But it really sort of, then I got on to Instagram and I saw that there were others that were doing it. I mean, like you were doing it, Old School Novel Nails was doing it. And so it just sort of ended up, remember them? Yeah, I know. I think she was like in Allure and like Marie Claire, like she really was everywhere. And then I just really liked it. And so it just sort of kept going. I'm an A-type obsessive. So I just kept practicing and doing it and loving it. And it's a way for me to like pitch people in real life because they'll be like, "Oh, what's on your nails?" And I'm like, "Oh, actually, you put all four together. It's a book, and this is why you should read it." And then and so it's like anyway.
Selling point.
Right? I'm like, I'm just marketing, coding myself in marketing material, and so I can push books on people. That's sort of I guess that's sort of how it started. So,
Amy, how did you?
7 years. So.
Oh God, yes.
Oh, wow.
Oh God.
I got into Instagram because I was shoved by my bestie. She's Stories and Sweeties, but she told me I need to be on Instagram. And for work, I'm a professional book reviewer for a newspaper. And so they said I had to have a social media platform. And so I tried Bookalays. I'm horrible. I cannot lay a flat book and pair it with a candle and a flower to save my life.
Yes.
Like
so
hard.
Just,
So
and everybody
hard.
goes, "You're artistic," and I said, "Nothing flat. I just can't do it." And so like I broke down crying, couldn't figure it out. And then one day I was like, it'd be really cool if I could find a way to make me look like I'm falling into a book. And so I grabbed out this is a sin. I grabbed acrylic paint and I painted my hand. I'm like, oh, that's actually kind of cool. And I had a friend reach out and goes, "You're gonna die. You can't put acrylic paint on your skin." Like I'm like, I don't know what to do. So I got body paints. I've never painted in my life, never
Yep.
taken an art class, and I just started painting, and uh, kind of the rest is history. I needed something bigger than my hands, so it became my legs. Um, People ask me all the time why I don't paint my back. Like I can't paint
Ow.
my
It's
back.
just
Man.
Um, yeah, the rest is history, and I've kind of just self-taught, and I will say it's probably the most relaxing thing in the world. I do. I love how I feel when I get the paints, and I cannot paint with acrylic or oil paints. There's just something, I mean, as you guys would know, about the way the fluidity of the paint goes. And so, kind of the rest is history. Next month is my 3 years of doing this.
Ooh,
So,
yay.
Do
I know
something
I can't believe
special.
it. I know. Yeah, I'm gonna have to throw myself a party.
I
But yeah,
know.
so and I like this more because like Jenny was saying, it's great advertisement. I went to Walmart last week with the Fright Watch series on my legs. I've gone to the post office and she wondered why my tattoo changes. And the UPS man came over. The UPS man came over when I was painted like Jack Skeleton. He has never rang the doorbell since. Nope. He ditches it at the end of the and runs. So yeah, so I kind of don't know. It's a trip and fall into this.
Fair enough. Bettina, how did you get here?
It's kind of a mix of things. So I grew up as like a performing arts theater kid. So ever since I was little, I always did my stage makeup whenever I went up to go perform. And then in theater, I worked not only on stage, like I did my own makeup, but I would work behind the scenes and I would do my classmates' makeup too. So that's kind of how I started makeup in general. But to actually jump to Book Looks by B, when I was in my senior year of college, I was getting ready to graduate, and I was telling Richard, I'm like, okay, now that I can have a little bit more time to myself, I'm just working and not going to school at the same time. Like, I want to focus more on just doing something artistic. Should I make an Instagram about books and what I'm reading and what I'm writing, or should I make a makeup Instagram account? And I couldn't decide which one I wanted to do. So he looked at me, and I don't know if you guys have seen the Taco Bell commercial where she's like, ¿Por qué no los dos? Like, why not both? So he said that to me, and I was just like, okay. And I was just like, okay, well, maybe I can blend makeup and books together. And I had a really crappy day at school one day, and I went home and I was just like, I am obsessed with Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo, which was like my saving grace during senior year of college. So I decided to put it on my face. And that was kind of like the very first book look I ever did. And like, that's how I was like, okay, I think I want to do this. Like, put this on my face. And that's how it happened.
I mean, can't argue with that. Yeah, sure. Yeah. I mean, for me, it was a weird one because, I like painting nails, but I didn't know what to paint. And it's always like, oh, what do you do next? What do you do next? And at some point, I was like, well, that cover is pretty and I like the color scheme and I have the right
Yes.
colors. And why don't I just do that? And then it just escalated from there. It's one of those weird things where you had like this one weird moment where you had an idea and it somehow became something completely else.
Mhm.
But stick on that a bit and like how you're working. So obviously, like one of the big differences I see at least between Amy, Jenny, and you, Bettina, is that Amy, Jenny, and I, to some extent, we will stick to the book covers, while you will play with like the inspiration and more of the mood of the book.
Mhm.
So, kind of question of why book cover to you go to, and why not kind of thing. So, do you want to start us with why not?
I wanted originally, I feel like when I was first starting like doing the actual looks, I was a little bit more cover inspired. So I would try to put major elements of the cover onto my body and on my face. But to be honest, I'm not the most talented painter. Like the accuracy that both Jenny and Amy have with actual like covered painting is very precise and very exact. And for me, I would like to be that, but it just takes so much time and patience, and I'm like, I just kind of want to be done. But I kind of got like, I gave myself these like little creative parameters where I wanted to incorporate so much of the book, because sometimes the cover doesn't encompass the story, if that makes sense. Like sometimes the cover doesn't really like give away like really important elements of the story, or like feels and vibes and like characters. So whenever I try to make a book look now, I try to incorporate not just like the color scheme and some design elements from the cover, but like very important things that I know people who have read the book would understand. And I think probably when that started more was, I don't have the cover on me, but An Ember in the Ashes by Sabaa Tahir. I painted that one with more of like the ember-like textures of the cover, but I hid, has everyone read this before I say any more?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. So there's a special, I don't want to spoil anyone, but there's a special K that like only readers will understand what that is. So I wanted to hide that in the book look, but make it so like if you know what I'm talking about, you'll get it. And I saw in the comments everyone saying the K, and that got me so excited. So like, okay, like I want to hide tiny little nuances in the look. So like if you were a fan of the book, you'll get it. So it's kind of like my little kind of nod, like, oh, you read it, you know what I'm talking about, kind of thing.
Amy, why covers?
To be honest, since I'm self-taught and kind of didn't know what I was doing, I have to see what I'm painting. I know a lot of people have asked why I haven't started doing my own character art, and I'm one of those, I think, not weirdos, one of those people, I don't picture a character as I'm reading. I fall into the emotions and the feelings of a character more than does she have blonde hair or brunette hair, or all of that goes out. And so I'm trying to train myself now to really see the character. So really, I just need something to look at and try to kind of replicate. And then the other thing I kind of like is it does a shout out to the author, I think, and the artist. A lot of times the artists don't always get that special nod. You know, you look at a book, you grab a book, and you don't think anything more past that. And so just trying to give that little bit of recognition of, okay, this is what she's doing and this is what she did. So
yeah, cool. Jenny,
I love the process. You post the process of your painting too, which a lot of people don't understand. That it takes a
or
lot.
how long. I get that because
how long it takes.
Yeah, most people at the very beginning accused me of doing tattoo paper and printing it on my skin. And I've had a couple people actually, I've got a lot of negative comments saying I was photoshopping it on my body. And I mean, I know we all get negative comments at times, but it almost made me quit. Like, I'm just like, oh no, this took me 7 hours. And so that's why I show the process too, to show that I'm not just photoshopping it on my body. But
I can see that as a compliment too, though.
That's
so it's as good
you have
as
to
Photoshop.
Yeah, you have to be really good for them to think that. But
that's how my friends turned it around, and so I'm like, oh, okay. But then I also, when I wanted people to see, when I say 5 or 6 hours, I wanted them to see why. And then also, you know, as you would know, is one drop of water and it's gone. Like, this is so temporary. And so I also do that in case something horrific happens. Like, I wash my hands, knock over a glass of water, and it's gone. So,
worst nightmare.
It's such a worst nightmare.
Oh god. I mean, it's probably the equivalent of us smudging a nail where we're like, no.
Yeah.
Like the top coat?
No.
The top
coat?
Yes! The top coat!
I do that all the time with just regular nail polish and I cry.
Like,
I would like do a video though.
You recover.
Yeah.
God. But
what do you do if that happens though? Like
when you smudge
so like real trauma. It's like like real trauma happens. A dent is almost worse because like how do you fix it?
Yes.
But when it comes to like something on top coat, I'm really particular on the brands that I use. Sometimes less expensive brands, in order to pigment the polish, like there's almost too much. So it could dry for 3 days, and the minute you put that top coat on, it'll smudge. So I've learned like which blacks and whites for outlining are the ones that stay put for me. And I layer. So I use this top coat. It's called Glisten and Glow. It's an indie brand from the United States. I've tried every top coat on the market. This is the best. I'm Canadian. I'm
gonna write it down.
funds for this, plus the shipping. So like it's worth it. Yeah, right. Seriously, everyone
Taking notes. Yes.
So Glisten and Glow.
Glisten and Glow.
Because it's so shiny that I don't know how it stays so shiny over time. Like you can put this top on your nails and you have at least 7 days of like, I mean, full shine. It doesn't shrink at the tips or at your cuticle line. So you know that you're good. So what I do is after every layer, right? You break down the art into different layers, like background, character, font, whatever, like is sort of overlapping. And after every single layer, I'll do a top coat so that if something goes awry in the next layer, I can do a quick with a lint-free, it's very important, lint-free little pad. And I use water-based acetone for this process. And it's just one swipe to get everything off. So if there is an issue, I can take it down to like the last clear coat. Also because they take me between 4 or 5 days to paint, right? So I have to sort of
it's a lot.
like protect it while I go on with my life and not use my left hand ever. It's like she's in a pocket. She doesn't do anything. Yeah. The right hand is the workhorse. The left hand is, I was like, I need that Zoolander like bubble from David Duchovny, to just sort of like, keep it, just keep it protected at all. What are we talking about, David? I don't remember the question. I feel like I've done a long time. Why covers? I don't know. Why not?
Because they're beautiful.
And I will covers 10 years ago. I'm dating myself to now. The artwork, the details, like the Easter eggs of the book on the cover. I mean, the art has. I mean, it used to sort of just be fantasy that had these beautiful covers, and now truly everything has just. I mean, gorgeous. It's stunning. And yay for us, because we get to imitate them.
Oh, absolutely. It's absolutely intense. I've done my like master's thesis on book art and like how it changed and what people like think into it and that kind of thing. And it was just really fascinating to look at them closer. And there's so much thought process that goes into them. It's amazing. But Jenny, you actually didn't get us too much off the rail, because my next question would have been, what do you paint with? Because I know one of the things we talked about before is everyone bring their brushes. Do you all have your brushes with you? I mean, we have these, which are just which doesn't help, but obviously we all paint in different kind of brushes.
And sponges.
Like these are my main ones.
Yeah.
Oh, let me grab my main.
I love this though. Y'all have some.
Like, can you see them? I don't even know.
This is the best. I'll just set them here.
Yeah. So we talked a little bit about it. And there are different things and there are a lot to work acrylic paint. You, for example, I know you work with nail polish exclusively. Any reasoning, or is it just how did that happen?
It's how I started, right? And every medium is different, right? So, because I paint on canvas. When I paint on canvas, I use acrylic, but like it's a much larger piece. Especially now that I'm doing that on my thumbs. So I guess because it's just sort of how I started. Sometimes I would use black and white acrylic paint, like in the beginning times, for something that just needed that extra bit of control. And this is where I'll shout you out, Demet, because there was a time, again, years ago, where I was like, lettering so hard. Why does anyone do it? This is terrible. And Demet's like, DMs and is like, are you not diluting that with nail polish thinner? And I was like, what's nail polish thinner? And it changed everything.
The tricks of the trade.
Yeah, it literally changed everything because the polish dries really quickly. And so to be able to thin it out to like get that viscosity like the way that you want it, and to know the sort of texture that I'm going for every time means that I can be consistent in terms of it going on. Because if it goes on too thick, you get the bump and you can see that little bit of shadow. So it's a little bit tricky, and I just use the medium for so long at this point. Like
Yeah.
I'm practicing with gel, an entirely different medium again. And it's a little bit easier to work with because it doesn't dry. It doesn't dry until you cure it,
Oh,
right? So you
That's
can,
cool.
it's a lot more forgiving once you figure out. I had to get different brushes. I was like, why is this so hard? And they were like, well, use different brushes. And of course, I mean, it's an entirely different medium. So nail polish made sense. It's on my nails, and
Yeah.
it was what I was just sort of used to doing.
It's such a weird thing though, because like obviously nail polish is not made to do all of these things, right? It is a
Yeah.
it is a paint that is made to go on and dry and be done with it. But if you start doing detail work, you want it to stay liquid, and then you start to have problems.
Yeah, like I go through thinner, like it. I mean, I'm buying thinner like it's my part-time job, but it really is the only thing that makes like
It is true.
work.
I've
But also means
I can
that I'm
picture
very
you like
consistent.
walking out with like gallons of
I have
thinner
like the
out of
jug.
like a
I'm like,
Sam's Club.
Oh God. Amy, before we went on, you started showing off some of your paints. You obviously work with body paints. What
Yeah.
kind do you do? How do you work with them?
So here's my mega palette.
So
And
beautiful.
I only use Maron. I did look up how to say their name because no one knows how to say it. And so
Yep.
I only the Paradise AQ. I haven't tried the alcohol based we talked about earlier. I haven't tried Krylon. I just like how these blend. And I think they come in about 40 different colors. And you would think that's enough. I blend every single color I use. And so I'm kind of weird. Like I have such like patterns. So like whatever I'm painting, I set this pad up to the color tones that I'm working in. So I always have them. Um, and then so each size of cakes is about like this size. But like skin tones, I blend 7 to 9 colors to get a skin tone. So I'm really to do the shadowing. And then I always use, I think the most important thing when body painting, because it comes off so easy, is a primer. And so the NYX
Yes.
is the only primer I'll use. And then this has saved my life a million times. It's the matte finish spray. And as soon as I'm done, I like coat my body in this. And this
Yes.
has saved me from an occasional drip. The other day I went to a cemetery fully painted, of course, because it was the best backdrop. And I
Yes.
sweated 102 degrees, sweated through it, but it stayed. And I think it's because I probably, if I could bathe in this after a shoot, I probably would. And then
I would
my
dunk my face in it.
like I want there to be a
Holy.
shower.
Yes. This can't move.
I hope they're listening to us. They're like, oh, a spritzer. And then for the metallics, as much as I love working with metallics, they're their own creation.
I have the same one. Oh, wait, I have that one too. We match.
And then I don't know, do you use the mixing liquid? And so
I do.
the mixing liquid is the most expensive thing you'll buy.
It is.
I have
the industrial one too. I need more, but
this is like $14 to $18, I
yes.
think, for this. And literally every time I've opened it, I've spilt it. So I'm not.
Me too. I have to do this. I have like a tiny like syringe thing, like a little dripper thing. So I'm very careful. I'm like a chemist when I'm trying to.
That's what I need to do. And then I always use a glass spray bottle to
Yeah, that.
spray down to wet my pants. Not my pants, my paints. But I can barely. But the plastic eats the paint. It's so like the paint doesn't come off, and I like everything to be super clean before I start. And then Probably my most favorite base is Elf brand. The foundation brush. This is how I always do my base. And this is my magic brush, my contour brush, because I paint backwards. This is why I can't paint on
Oh,
canvas.
that's right.
I'm a weirdo. So always paint a complete solid background, and then I take this contour pen and I literally erase like portraits or whatever I'm doing, and that's where my brain sees it in 3D. So as I'm
Yeah.
starting to sketch it out, I can see the depths of the nose, the depths of the eyes, the depths of the lips, and then I go back in and fill in the highlights and the shadows.
Oh, that's so cool.
That's cool.
Kind of how my brain, right? So I know, like, everybody's like, why don't you paint on paper or canvas? You can't remove, and
Yeah,
the
you can't
only way I
erase
know how to
it.
paint, yeah. And I think it's because I'm self-taught, and I know everybody said if I took an art class, they'd try to teach me paint forward. Ironically, I can't even draw a stick figure.
But the process works.
That's the
Yeah,
thing.
like I mean,
It works.
If it ain't broken, don't fix it.
Right.
I love that right now where like Amy was just mentioning things and Regina just did this.
I got you.
Show and tell.
knew you would have. I wish we lived closer, so if I ran out, I could like call her up.
I'd be like, I got you, Amy. I got the shit. Me too. I have to be it has to sit. I have like a little like bowl, like a Tupperware. I set it in there now because when I'm doing stuff, I'll knock it. Or if I have to like reach for something or get like a brush, I know I will knock it. So it's inside its own little special tub in case it like tips, it'll get caught. And I also have the little dripper.
Yeah.
So I'm not using too much.
That's genius.
Yeah, because you know how like if you have the powder and you have the liquid, if you add too much of one or the other, you don't get the right consistency. So you either add more powder or you add more liquid, and now you have too much metallic paint.
Yeah,
So
you bathe
I
in
have
it,
to do
or
like
it gets clumpy.
yeah, or it dries too fast, and then now your bowl is painted.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Okay, so what other products do you use?
I do body paint. My other favorite is I'll mostly do I'll save Mehron mostly for like bold detail colors or especially on my body. But for my face, because I move around a lot in it and I'll be talking on camera, sometimes if it's painted a certain way, it'll crack, especially near my mouth. I've noticed like here, I'll get the little like crackies. And if I do a zoom in, I don't want to get called out and like, someone's gonna say her lip is cracked. I don't want someone to say that. So I'll use cream-based ones because it's a little bit smoother and it's a little bit more flexible on like areas that have to like move around. But I've recently been in love, and I hope you try this because I think it'll save you a lot of time when you're painting. Airbrush paints. It's so cool.
That's terrifying.
It was.
I know what's about to
I
happen.
had to do a whole like a year's save up worth. This is also getting a little off track, but so with my paycheck, I do a 50%, a 20%, and a 30%. So the 20% is technically goes to saving, and the 30 is like a fun spending amount. The other 50% is like bills, rent, all this other stuff. I switch it. So instead of my 20% going into saving, my 30% will go into saving. And all the saving goes to this. So I spent like a couple months specifically saving up for airbrush paints because these are expensive, but they save so much time. Like, I don't know if you've seen the Blood and Honey book look that I recently did where I was like all red. That was all this. It was all this. It was like a messy, patchy Mehron and then all airbrush on top. So like it adds that extra opaque flat layer, kind of like the matte. And I wanted that specifically because the Blood and Honey cover, which is, I forgot to grab it. Darn. But it has like a very like velvety, smooth, flat finish to it. And I wanted my body to reflect that. So to get that like very nice, flat, no patches, I'll do a layer of airbrush on top. And it gets that very like vibrant. It's like, I wish we lived closer because I'd be like, Amy, come here so I can spray you.
I'm making a field trip. So do you have like an area, like a backdrop that you airbrush against? Like,
No.
something to protect your house?
No, not really. My desk is filthy.
So
Okay.
just in general, if someone doesn't know it, that's the
It
cover
looks
of Blood
like
and
that,
Honey.
and I did a combo. Okay, here we go. There we go. Okay, so I used this. So I did the swipe, 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 swipe all over. And you can either, but like, yeah. But like for certain colors, I don't know if you've noticed this with Mehron spreads, but like certain colors, if you do a once over a couple times, it'll streak it. So to like cover up the
For
streaks, I'll
free.
do a layer of, and you'll get like, I am
It's
made
on
of
my wish
That's how
list.
that looks to be
Oh, I
super
was just trying to
professional.
find it.
Thank God.
Instagram, I can get there.
And then for my hands too, I'll just do like a quick like, boop, and it's all covered up.
Okay.
So it's really cool. I
That's
hope you
really
I'm
try
doing
that.
Corpse Bride, so now I want to try it for Corpse Bride.
Yeah,
That's
for the
next.
full.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I've been working on the costume, because of course I have to sew everything. So I've been working
Yeah,
on that one for a little while.
Nice.
but it's so much fun. I feel like I'm faster too now because airbrush paints will do like the whole base cover, and then I'll do water based on top, like the Mehron on top or the create bases for the detail work. So it takes off just a little bit of time off of it, which is
Okay,
always
I'll
really
take
nice.
it.
Yes. Do it, do it, do it.
Time is of the
So
essence for us.
It
it is.
is.
I'm telling you, like getting the first time I got like a good card, I realized how faster that work can be. I was like, this is madness.
Mhm.
But to come back slightly to books, because you are bloggers after all, apart from amazing artists, as we've all learned now. How do you pick which books and book looks you want to do? Like, do you read everything you paint and you only paint something that you really loved? Or, I mean, full disclosure, have you ever painted something that you A, didn't love, or B, never read? Like,
One time I did. One time. And it was terrible. It was for the Nest. Don't read it. I bought it for the cover and I was like, it's so pretty. And so I painted it and I was like, this is the greatest ever. It was teal and gold. It was so beautiful. And it's, well, to this day, probably one of the worst books I've ever read. And so I
Oh,
posted it and was just like, look at this book. I haven't read it yet. False.
it's
That was
always
a lie.
hard.
This was many years ago. But that was it. And I was like, never again. Because it takes so long that it's like, if I don't love what I'm doing and if I don't want everyone that I've ever met in my entire life to read something, why am I going to spend 20 hours of my free time? That's all my
Yes.
free time for an entire week. Come on.
And products on it.
And hello, like it's
Yeah.
money and it's time. And if it's
Yeah.
not for a greater purpose, which is me just like loving it, wanting to scream about it, like I learned my lesson early on, thank goodness, because no. If you see a Manny on my page, it's because I've read, because I pair it with reviews too. So it's like,
Yeah.
Yeah, fair
they
enough.
go hand in hand for me. Oh, that was a pun. I didn't mean to.
Amy, what do you do? Do you read everything you do? Do you like just only decide after reading if you're painting something? How do you go?
I will admit I haven't read everything I've painted. Um, like I said, I'm kind of in the fortunate place that this has been my job for 9 years to review books, and so um, I I just get a lot of beautiful arcs and beautiful covers, and a lot of times, since I have to read a book every week, and I give myself I have to read a book. I have 3 to 4 days to read it, and so I can't read everything. But I always do a lot
Yes.
of research to make sure, like, I look up the author, I look up the reviews, lots of times I'll skim it. And that's one of the things I love about painting is I feel horrible that I can't review everything I've been given or been asked maybe to reach out. And so this is kind of my way to also kind of give back to some of the books that I just, can't fit in my column space. I'm so limited on words and columns and what gets accepted by the publisher. So now I kind of choose the books by books usually I've read and loved, authors I know I've read and loved, or a lot of times if the author will reach out to me. It just makes my heart happy
Yeah.
when the authors
Yes.
reach out and say, I love what you're doing. I have a stack right now of the ones that I've been asked to paint or slotted to paint. And I have a wide erase board that's almost as tall as me of all the ones coming up. So yeah, I guess there's no rhyme or reason. It also has to be something I can paint. I've had people ask me to paint, and I'm just like, like I kind of don't know what I'm doing, so
Yes.
can't do that.
Yeah.
100%.
Like-
I don't know what I'm doing.
Right. If it's got like 12 people on the cover, I mean, it takes me 6 hours to paint one. I can't do. And then sometimes I say like I'm gonna have to take a little creative license. If you've got 4 faces, I maybe can do 2. Because and also like I have
There's also only so much space.
Yes.
It's not that big. I won't tell you what I weigh. My leg's not big. But that and I can only do it in one sitting, and so I will say once 5 hours hits, my back and my hips really really start to hurt. I actually do go to physical therapy because to try to keep my hips and my
Oh
legs
no.
because I sit in such a cramped up position for at
Yeah.
least 24 hours a week painting. So
Oh, dang.
it's just one of those things you don't think of, like the way
Yeah.
your hips
Not
are.
even
To be
close.
in that position for so long.
But painting back, I don't know how you do face looks. Like I used to paint my chest, but I thought my eyes were gonna fall out of my head, like because you're so looking in these little teeny tiny makeup mirrors.
Yeah. And you're like
Um,
trying to
yeah, you
like
get such like
look
tunnel
inside of it
vision.
while you're
Yeah, and so I try to only do like a chest or like Halloween painted clothing. So
Fair enough. Bertina, how do you pick? How,
majority of what I choose that I do books on were all books on my TBR. So it's books that I have read, I'm going to read, but usually I read everything. I make a point to definitely read through everything. And this is mostly because I don't just draw from the cover, I draw from moments inside the story or characters or like special scenes. So I want to be able to get as much under my belt as possible before I actually start to have like the inspiration starts coming in. So most of it comes from my TBR. Others are from commissions. So sorry, excuse me. So when I first started, I got a lot of independent authors asking me to do book looks for them. And then eventually, as I was holding commissions, Epic Reads came along and they commissioned me to be a resident content creator. So this past year, all through 2020, up until now, it's all of my recent book looks have all been Epic Reads choices, which is perfectly fine for me because I plan on reading those books anyways. But yeah, as for in terms of me doing a book that I wasn't a fan of, I have. But in terms, because we are also bloggers and we put our reviews up too, I know not only is this a marketing opportunity for the author, but also like even if I don't like a book, it doesn't mean someone else. So I'll say things that I didn't particularly like, but I have a feeling that if these elements or these types of tropes are present in the book, then people who like those would probably like it. So I try to put that in my reviews as much as possible, but I will say like I'm rated a 3 or it wasn't my favorite, but if you like this, you'll probably like this. And that's the same way for the book look as well. If I didn't like it, I'll still find things that I know that other people would, and I'll try to throw that into the book look too, to be able to like still make the book shine.
Fair enough. I mean, I have to say, when I like the few times I read reviews, I like to like read the middle range because the 4 and 5 stars ones will just most of the times just be like
talk about the things that they love. Yes.
Yeah, and then the 1-star ones will just be like, this is horrible. While like I feel the 3-star ones tend to be more nuanced and be like, this is what I like, this is what I don't like, and it gives me more of an idea of what I'm getting into and to decide if that is something I want to do or not. So I tend to ignore the upper and bottom range completely. But yeah. So I do like that approach, I have to say. But I have to say I've done it before. I've painted books that I haven't read or that I didn't like. It sometimes happens. And most of the times for me, I think it happened when I painted it for an event because it was like going to a book lounge or something and you want to be ready and have that. We got the book and then you go home and read it like.
Yeah, if you really didn't like it, well, typically, if I'm reading a book, if it falls below a 3-star, I just won't finish it. Like it has to be a 3 or higher in my opinion for me to like. I don't want to spend time in this. I know this other book is probably going to be better, so I'll just boop and that just won't become a book look sometimes.
Yeah.
But
But yeah, cool.
I will say, I
This
do
is
go back-
probably.
No, go ahead.
I just wanted to point out that this is probably a good point where Bertina's talking about commissions. That if you want to commission Bertina,
yes,
you can. Her commissions are
I
open.
reopened my commissions. I'm accepting for 2022 now. So
I know. So if
anyone's
you're an author
interested
or you just have money and like a book
and
really
would like
well,
me to do a book look,
you can do that. We've linked her commission guidelines in our Market Square. So if you go on our website to the Market Square, you find Book Looks by B, and you go to a PDF that will tell you exactly what you get for your money if you want to do that, and then you can
and I
contact her.
offer 2 packages. So
Yeah.
you have some options.
So there's choices. That's just the FYI in between. Amy, what did you want
Thank
to
you.
say?
No, marking on that. I would love if someone would commission you to do it live at one of these book conventions if we ever start going in live again. I think it would be fun to really watch you do it live.
I
I'm
would
throwing it
love
out
to
there
do it.
all- like
That'll
ALA,
be sweet.
you need to I just think that would be amazing to see
Yeah.
you.
I would
Just bring
love to do it.
into
So
I mean,
I'm
I would
just
be absolutely.
saying.
I would commission you if I could, but we all know that we don't have money here, so.
I feel it.
But you know, ALA is probably a good start.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed. If that does happen, that would be really epic, I have to say.
yes.
I do like
It
doing
would be
like.
fun.
Do you guys are you more of like a solo? Are you more off on your own doing your own painting, or do you talk to people while you're doing it, or like is it more of a solo work, or do you like to have company while you're working?
I beg people to come talk to me while I paint, and no one wants to. They're like, "So boring." I do better like if I'm on the phone or chatting. I did talk to an author recently that said she'd like to go on IG Live while she signs books and I paint, so people can see it in process. So no, I'm kind of
That's so
I'm a
cool.
chatter. Yeah. What about you?
That's why I started doing Twitch. Yeah, just
Yeah,
because
I was
it gets lonely to sit that
Voice
long.
of God coming in, just saying, look, you're live on the internet right now. Why not do your art live
You can
on
just
the
start
internet?
painting now.
Like, if you get enough followers and like you could become like a Twitch affiliate, a Twitch partner. You could get money for that. We can't get money for this, but you could get money for that.
Yeah.
You know? Just saying. Sorry, I don't usually interrupt these things, but I had to say, if you want company whilst you're painting,
We're here
yeah.
for you.
Twitch
whole
is the
internet.
best. Twitch and IG Live, I'll purposely go on there because I'll be by myself. Like my husband will be at work. If I'm off that day and I'm home by myself, it's kind of lonely. And especially if it has to go late into the night, like if I have a late start in the day and it's like midnight or something, husband's asleep. I'm a scaredy cat. I'm a huge scaredy cat, but I love horror and gore stuff. But I'm always scared, like, what if there's a ghost in the house? And I'm painting by myself. If I die, I'm on IG Live, so you guys can see it. There's proof.
I'm with you. My husband deploys. I paint in the basement, watch horror movies. I'm like,
Yeah. I get scared.
I'm gonna find you on Twitch though, and when you're working, I'll throw out some paints. That'll be fun, and
Okay.
then we can both paint at the same time.
Yes. We should have a group paint day, just like a paint and chill. That'd be fun.
Yes, please, please. Jenny, what do you usually do just to go around?
Definitely.
Do you?
I have my nail painting station is in our living room, and so I sort of have the semblance of company. But to be honest, I'm looking at a very small area when I paint, so like
Yeah.
I don't have like I can only look down. Like I'm just looking at such a small surface area. It's hard for me to do anything else. I listen to Sirius XM, listen to podcasts. So I'll listen to things. So I'm not and I prefer actually listening to talking versus music for whatever reason. It's not as distracting, because it's finding that little bit of it's taking my mind off the fact that I'm a hunchback, but also is entertaining me, right?
I think all of us are.
Yeah. When I was doing the camp YA logo yesterday, I was listening to a comedian and I was like, oh God, I was doing this one straight line 10 times. I have to turn the channel. I can't listen to you.
Pause.
I know. I can't move. Like, and sometimes when you're doing like a line, it's like I'll hold my breath, and it's like everything just has to like just please just straight. Do not. Yeah.
I love that you managed to do what I didn't today. So basically, I started the day off with naked nails because we started the day with like a 30-minute campfire breakfast thing. And I was like, oh, that's fine. I'm going to sit here and like paint my nails and do the logo and be done with my nails for the weekend. If you've noticed, they're still only blue because I did not like doing those tiny lines will take more like brain than I have while also streaming. So
Like, and I've been doing it long enough that I like, because I'll look at it and I'm like, oh, 20 minutes. I mean,
It looks gorgeous
it's
though.
just little 4 lines and some lettering. Yeah, 4 hours later I'm finished. Like there is no such thing as a simple, quick.
No.
Even with covers, and I'll be like, oh, there isn't a portrait. Like for the Iron Face series, it's really just sort of like titles and then some stuff. Whoo, love painting those. No faces, no animals. It's just sort of like some floral details and like a thorn and some cool letters. Like they take a long time. I mean, they just take a long time. And nail polish is fairly unforgiving. Like there aren't really a lot of backsies opportunities, except if you want to wipe the whole thing clean.
Oh, no.
So yeah, I prefer to try to stay like focused on what I'm doing.
yeah.
Please don't talk to me. It's like when I'm cooking, just please, like come back when it's done. I love you so much. Please don't talk to me. Like,
Do you use a magnifying glass or is it all
do.
just?
Do you?
Yeah,
Does it help?
I have a lot of vision stuff, and so I have like literally 0 up close vision, and because I have to get cataracts.
Okay.
And so when I got the cataract surgery, I was really sad because I was like, this is going to obviously dramatically affect my nail painting capabilities. And my brother came with this like thing that he got near his house that's computer programmers.
Oh yeah.
Circuit boards together. So it's actually quite big. So it has like a larger area, but it's on like a big sort of arm thing that has a light. And so it looks about double the size. It's about 100%. So that does help when I'm trying to do like that intricate stuff with my one bristle brush to really sort of get it in place. But I'd be lost without that. And that's why I don't do a lot of videos, because I have to be over it with the magnifier. So to try to get an angle recording, like it's just I can't see. So I mean sorry, like how to is not I've done a few and they take me so long because I just can't really see what I'm doing.
I mean, my eyes are better than yours, but I still sit here like this and try to like have the best light in the house on it, and then it's still like I've had several people over the years being like, you should make videos, and it's like, no, this like that was
taxing.
It's so long.
Takes a while.
Over days. It's like it's over days. Like for me to do one on the 4 fingers now, it's anywhere from 16 to 20 hours. So I mean, which is why I'm doing them on my thumb, because that's only 4 to 6, and that's a little more manageable.
That seemed like the better idea.
So casual. 6 hours.
Only 4 to 6 hours.
Well, that's the average, I feel, for what we all do. There's no way it's done in 3 hours. Like there's a whole. We branch into the double digits of hours at this point to be able to get
100%.
everything done.
Shoot.
Yes.
Yeah, like it's not just the paint. It's
you have to get the picture.
Okay. So it's
or
reading
if
the
I'm
book.
running around in my field.
We're not even counting the hours it takes to read it.
Yeah. Not even counting that. That's in addition to. So,
It's just
I mean,
it's madness. Well, I want you kind of to show off a bit if you can. So I would really like to know what your favorite thing is you've ever painted or done or anything. Is there like one thing you think of and you're like, oh my god, that is like when someone asks me what I do, that's the picture I pull up.
That's a really good question.
Mine changes all the time.
Yeah. I know. I brought some of my faves here.
It can be the favorite one you've done recently, but like.
I just say this one was the first one where I really did faces that look like human faces.
I love
remember
that
those
book.
nails.
Yes.
It took so long. This is probably also the longest I've ever spent on a cover mani. But truly, like, and again, finding the skin tones, like it was so much blending to make sure that like everything was sort of as it should be. It's so funny because people are like, "Oh, you're an artist." I'm like, "I'm a copy artist," as in like I copy your art. Like I'm not. It's, right?
This
Like why
goes
don't
on my
you
face.
design? Yeah. Like, if you could just go on my
This
face like it.
fails.
Yeah.
Nails.
That's it. So easy. Yeah. And also, I guess to circle back, Amy sort of mentioned this a little bit, but like, I will die on this hill. That cover artists need to be listed in ARCs. Cover
Yes.
artists need to be
Please,
credited in
please.
I
advance.
will stalk them. I will find you.
Like
Like
it's so hard to find them. It's
Yeah,
so hard,
and
I know that
it's
like
you
book
have to
releases
really
are
like
overworked. Let me see.
look in
Like I get
here,
it.
Rich
But you have to
Diaz.
put it in
I will
there, or
find
put
you.
it in the press release. If you can't
Yep.
put it in the book, put it in the press release that you tuck in.
Like,
Give that artist their credit. I mean, it makes me want to pull out my hair legitimately. I do not
Because
understand why they're
people do judge books by their cover.
I know.
Hello. Oh, to Dribble by its cover? Yeah, I'm gonna, because that's
Yeah.
your job. Like, so give this artist or
realizing
artists credit.
50% of the young adult artists are not on Instagram. About 50%. I'm about half for half.
I don't understand why.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, I just pulled. So this is like, of course, going to be my next paint. No cover artist listed inside. The publishers don't always list it, and I don't even know if the authors know. Like, it's really, really hard to find.
It's a weird combination of obviously the credit they need to give or not and that kind of thing, and like you have in-house artists and that like whole works differently. If you're interested in learning more about that, just like a complete side note, we're having a panel tomorrow which is called By Design, where we have
Yes.
Michaela and Robin. Robin works in production and Michaela is a cover designer. She did the newest cover for Jake Kristoff's Vampire book, if you've seen that one around. And like some
Vampire Empire.
If you look her up, you will see covers you've known. Trust me. Yes, that one.
Can we just talk about
Jealous.
How do you? Anyway.
The big girl. Okay.
So yeah. So they will be on tomorrow, and they will be talking about the process and how that works. And you're more than welcome to come into the chat and scream at them to please include credits in their posts, because it's a process that is flawed, and there are some people in the industry who are trying to change it, and then there are some who just do not care, and it's a really complicated thing. I have a backlog of like posts on Instagram where, but like always, it's one of those bad things in my head where I'm like, I should go back and like try to find these artists and like tag them, but
sometimes it's hard to find them, like especially because their handles won't be the same as their artists' names inside of the book. So I'll stalk through. Hold on. I know I tried to find the artist for Caravel, and I spent a couple days going through so many of the people, and I was like, this doesn't look like them. What does their LinkedIn picture look like? Okay, that's not them. Like, I'll go on Facebook and LinkedIn to find them because I want to credit the person. Like, this artwork is going on your body, and I want to credit you.
I'll go to Barnes and Noble. So I'm in the middle of nowhere, and so the nearest bookstore for me is about an hour and 10 minutes away. But when I go, like, I'm the person sitting in the young adult list looking at hardback, like trying to find information of who the artist is and the other little stuff that I want to make sure I credit, and then I'll try to go back and fill in. But and then I always try to do a second post when I review the book if I've painted it first, and usually I try to have the information then as well. But it is really hard.
Yeah, no, I've gotten to the point like I won't post unless I have the credit. I'm literally copying people's work. Like I'm not putting my own spin on it. I'm not like I'm trying to completely replicate this. And so it's a lot of emails. Again, publicists are busy, especially the ones that are on the back of ARCs, because that's sort of like, like the top of sort of who you're looking at. And so it's like calling in favors, talking to other publicists I know, because I really feel like cover artists are like not given the credit that they're due, just generally speaking. Like but that means sometimes I to have something ready to go and I wait weeks for people to get back to me to tell me the names. And it's like most of them do have accounts, but it's not. It's definitely a flawed system. I want to tune into this panel tomorrow to see what's happening there, because I don't understand if the ARC has a cover, if the typist, the typography gets a credit, that's like on the inside. So I feel like I will see. I think Titan has started doing it actually. I think Titan has them.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think Titan has them on ARCs. But it should be at least on the press release. Yeah, like these artists are the reason we pick up
Absolutely.
these books. I
Yeah.
mean, especially like we talked about, the art has come so far, and it's because of them.
Yep.
It's because of you. Like, so please let me put your name on something that your name should be on.
Yeah.
Shout
Oh,
you
I'm
out too.
I
glorying in
think
this because I feel very.
We are getting heated.
so. Those of you who are listening, if you have this information and you start an account and give us all the information, let us know because I would
Yes.
love if someone just put that information out there.
Oh my god,
Incredible.
that would be so great.
Included.
Yes.
It'd be a great account.
Yeah. Well, I had some more questions, but we are almost over.
Oh no,
Sorry.
I was having
I
so
took
much
that
fun.
tangent way back.
It's
Sorry,
fine.
everybody.
I loved every minute of this. I'm not gonna complain. All I'm saying is we're almost done, which means this is the time where I'm gonna ask you, do you have any cool things coming up that we should be looking out for? Any like upcoming project, anything you're willing or able to share? Amy, do you want to start?
I put a stack up. So coming up in let's see, in October, I always do the 31 days of October, so I do a Halloween look every single
Yes.
day.
I get so excited.
All 31 days. So I will say like the ones on my desk this week. We've got
Ooh.
these
Once
three.
upon a broken heart's there.
Once Upon a Broken Heart, Within These Wicked Walls. I've wanted to do this forever, and The Death of Jane Lawrence. Like, let's just look at those hands.
Ooh.
So that's going to be a great challenge
Hands.
for me to try to
Oh,
see if.
painting
I just
hands.
added that to my TBR too.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So
So,
hard.
and like I said, I probably have 15 on my list, but those are the three I'm most excited about coming up this week.
Okay, so that's ambitious. Protina, where are you sitting?
Oh.
No, like what do you have coming up? Sorry.
Oh, I do. I have a couple. So I have I meant to do this long before, but I was also in the process of moving. But I wanted to celebrate reaching 5K followers on IG, on Instagram. So I held a poll asking everyone what book they would like me to do, and people voted for The Cruel Prince, which is also getting. This is bare bones, right? This isn't the finished product, but I'm working on the wig right now. So this is coming up soon. This I know in October. Have y'all read When Dreams Descend by
Not
Janelle
yet.
Andrews?
I
Oh, read it.
haven't.
It's good. So
I
her
hated
second
it.
book is coming up October 5th. So this is coming. This is going to be a book too. I have the face chart. This is what I'm going to attempt.
Ooh.
So it's very like cabaret and fun.
Yes.
I also have y'all read The Inheritance Games?
Heard about it. Not read it.
Okay, so
I've
that
heard about it.
that one's coming up soon too. And I have a Christmas collab with some other makeup artists coming up as well.
Ooh.
So that'll be coming out. It's called the Christmas Legends or Legends of Christmas 2021. So there's 12 of us, and we each chose a character that's prominent in Christmas. And I might have been overly ambitious with this, but I chose A Christmas Carol: The Three Ghosts. So I'm going to try to attempt to be the ghost of Christmas past, Christmas present, and Christmas future. So 3 different looks in one picture that I'm going to try to paint over the next couple months to be ready for Christmas.
That's exciting.
So yeah, lots of fun stuff coming, but I'll be posting my progress as I go.
God. Jenny, what do you have coming up?
Not a lot. I've taken a big step back from reviewing, and so like I don't post nearly as often. I'm going for 3.5 years, and so I'm now about 2 years out of it, plus COVID. So I've taken a much more relaxed approach. So I mean, I am finishing up the Iron Fist series, so I'll do the last 2 in that one. That series, like I need therapy after it. Like it is like affecting me on like a soul. Have you read it?
Oh no, I want to now.
Like, look, the Fae are terrible, we get it, but they're just terrible to everybody, even the squishies. And it's just, oh God, like I'm like sobbing every time. I'm like, oh, it's a nice nighttime reading. I'm like, I need to go and journal like after I finish. So I'll finish that. And then there is some stuff in the works in the fall, but I can't talk about it yet. So that's super boring to be like teaser of nothing, like the most big. It's something that I'm like really excited about. I'm nerding out hardcore for Halloween this year. So yes, there will be nails, but also I'm sort of venturing a little bit into cosplay. So
Yeah.
just living my best life. Just living my best life in the country. So.
I've seen some of your cosplay looks, and they're so good. And I like if you do another round of knighting people, I would like to be knighted, please.
Okay, so that actually, yeah, yes, there will be knightings around Halloween, so I will bring that up again. We will do some virtual knightings. I have a new sword. So that's
Big important news. And yes, no, I love this.
I have a new sword.
Ooh!
You know, whatever. So.
Oh God, I'm loving this a lot. Well,
Me too.
This was really great. Before we go, like I said, reminder: Bratina has her commissions open if you want that. It is in our Market Square, and also Jenny, as I mentioned, like in the beginning, has an Etsy shop now. You can, if you're not good at nail art, but you want to have really cool nails, you can buy them now. This lady will paint them for you and ship them to you, and you can use press-ons, and they're really adorable. She has some really cool bookworm sets that are like ready designed, but also if you want a specific book because you're an author or you just love it so much, you can email her and get, you know, a quote for what you want, and she will make that specifically for you. And then the amazing thing about press-ons is you can wear them over and over again.
No.
Well, you know, Jenny and I would do something and it's gone after a week.
Yeah. Right? I mean, a week.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
The day after pictures. So sad. Anyway.
Exactly. But if you get some press-ons, you get them to keep. So have a look at our Market Square. She was even nice and gave us a small discount code. So, you know, if that's something you always wanted to splurge on, you can now get it a little bit cheaper.
I know what I'm buying.
All I'm saying.
But like every set is designed to be customizable. Like that's the point.
Ooh.
Everything will be individual, tailored to you. So I'm excited. So yeah, check out my shop.
Yes. Yes, they are.
Yeah, they're a gel nail itself with gel polish. So if you just use sticky tabs or like a little bit of nail glue, you can certainly
That's what I wear for my book looks, and then I pop them off right
just
after the look.
Just a little bit of brush on. It's not like the most adhesive, but it will last for a while. But the idea, these are like event nails, right? So you'd wear them.
That's the thing. You wear them when you like want to go out and want to have something cool. But yeah, so
just don't lose them. That's the only.
Yeah, that's
Be
careful. But yes, so if you're interested in that, our Market Square is on the website. Go and have a look at that. And apart from that, thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for joining us, or me. This was really, really cool. This panel was like one of my passion things I wanted to pull off for this one, and I loved it.
I'm so happy to finally meet everyone too.
Yes.
We talk online, but like seeing your faces, hearing your voices is always really fun.
Oh yeah. So thank you so much. We will now go on to the break, which I don't know who we will be hosting, but we will do that, and then I'll see you guys later.
Yeah.